All right, Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. All right, first off, I want to say Shalom to the ones that push this word out in truth and in sincerity, which are the apostles and elders on down to the brothers. Right, and Shalom to the ones that endured this faith until the very end, until the time of Jacob's trouble, which are, again, the apostles and elders on down to the brothers and a few sisters. All right, so Shalom. All right, so I wanted to do this video pretty much on something I've been researching last week, actually, right? We all heard of the Industrial Revolution, right? But most of these documentaries out here, shit, even schools, I'm pretty sure schools will teach about that. They ain't gonna go that much into it, right? They're not gonna go in depth about what it was, right? Now, we never really been out of the Industrial Revolution, right? They say that, first, man, it started in like 1760, right? But they won't say that we're still in it, right? They say that the Industrial Revolution ended in 2010, right? We're still in it, right? We're still eating GMO foods, right? We're still living in very poor condition, right? The air is polluted. It was just humid as hell until the point that it was hazy outside. It still does right now. This is still the Industrial Revolution, if not worse. Right? So pretty much the Industrial Revolution, that was when they started becoming like on a brink, right? The uprising of technology being created, right? But through that was when the most pollutions was happening, at least one of the most. It still is just as bad today, right? You got the factories being made. That was the biggest point of the Industrial Revolution. But it was known to cause more issues than convenience, right? That was pretty much the uprising of convenience, luxury, right? You had factories being created. You had more food products being created. That's when they started like restaurant chains and stuff like that. But it started off, real small. But by 1831, that's when they started noticing, man, people started getting more sick. Right? The air was polluted like hell. Everything was bad. Right? It started getting worse. That's when all the pollutions was happening and all the sicknesses were going around. That's the pestilences. Right? You'll hear famines, pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. Right? Back then, there was a bunch of pestilences going around. Right? You had sicknesses like tuberculosis, right? Typhus, right? And much more. It was way too many. And not only that, but it was a lot of death rates. Shit, infants dying left and right. It was worse than it was pretty much like cancer. Right? But the biggest impact that the Industrial Revolution hit was the food industry. Right? So I'm going to get this scripture and then I'm going to further explain along. Right? This is Isaiah 24:3. It says, "The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord hath spoken this word." Right? So the land will be utterly emptied and spoiled. And that's what's coming to pass. Right? Everything that's happened in history is going to repeat itself. And at the moment, the Industrial Revolution is still here. We still seeing it. Right? It says, "The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The hardy people of the earth do languish." Right? Now, I read this in the other translations, right? It said, well, the earth is mourning and withereth away. And it said the people that inhabit it are the ones that pollute it. It says the earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, right? That's where it says it's those ones that the people that's on this planet are the one that polluted, right? The man that runs this society. So as you can see, man, when he's in charge, that's why Esau is the ending of the world and Jacob is the beginning, right? Because when this man is in power, everybody's mourning, everybody's getting sick. And you can see through his way of mass consumption, right? That's what that is. That's mass consumption. Through his way of mass consumption, he's not only causing economic instability, but he's also causing social discomfort, meaning causing all to get sick, die by plagues. Not only that, but people can't even live well, right? Till this day, the amount of money that people make, they're being taxed, and they can't make enough, to live comfortable. They gotta live, paycheck to paycheck, and it's still not enough. So why you gotta hustle this much in this society just to get poor quality food till this day, the GMO, right? Although there was real food back then around the 1700s, 1800s, but it still was just as bad, especially in the Industrial Revolution, right? Around this time. It says, the earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broke the everlasting covenant, right? So you jakes, man, that's talking about our people. Y'all are just as bad, right? Y'all are just as bad. Y'all transgress the laws. Y'all don't even follow the land Sabbath. But yet, y'all make everything about the law when y'all are doing no good. But not only that, but the main reason why this man is in power and why we got to live this harsh environment is because of us, right? Judges 10 is my favorite scripture on that, right? We served other gods. We serve Balaam, Dagon, Baal, which is Balaam, the sun god Ra, Semiramis, right? The queen of heaven. Right, and now look at us. It's for our punishment. Right, so that's why this man is still in power. Right now, around like the 1850, like 1859 to 1860 something. That's when they started implementing, these meat grinders, right? The products that they use for fast food, even till this day. To process the meat. The biggest issue of the Industrial Revolution was the food products, right? That's where it mostly hit, and the sicknesses. But what mostly caused those sicknesses were pollution and the foods that were given to people, that was shipped out there to the public. One thing that they leave out in the Industrial Revolution is the fact that FDA, originally called ChemCorp, they allowed certain amounts of, let's say, insects get in the meat or in the food. They'll still ship it out if it's a certain amount. Till this day, they call that food defects, right? They only allow a certain amount, a certain level of food defects to be shipped out. But in general, if something like that get in the food, man, it should be thrown out. So what the hell you doing still serving that to people? And yet they'll say it's called protein. If there's a damn roach in the food, you're still going to serve it out. And they allow it. And not only that, but during the Industrial Revolution, you had workers, right? The people that would work in them factories who would process the meat. And what would happen is either they get injured or they just completely fall in. That's why around that time there was high reportings of limbs, right? Full on limbs, or any human body part, or even other animal body part, or insects in the meat, and it would still be shipped out, because that's when they was following uh that certain program, right? Only a certain amount of food defect can be shipped out. That's wicked, right? So I want to get Ezekiel 4:13. It says, "And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them." Right? So the Lord said we're going to eat our bread defiled amongst the heathens. Right? This is talking about the heathens. And yes, they did have the heathen nations working in the factories too, which they were a big part of that because they was the ones funding that. But we're eating food defiled till this day even. That's why I say we're still in the Industrial Revolution. Either way, you still got pollutions. We're still eating defiled food where who knows what is still in there. And they still allow food defects to be shipped out to the public. Right? The GMO, and that's when they started adding GMO, especially around 1995. So that's even worse. So now we don't know what the hell we're eating, yet it's being processed and grounded up with who knows what is in there. You could probably still got people falling in there. Because that was common back then. And people ate that without knowing. Right? So we got to eat our bread defiled amongst the Gentile. And not only that, but that can go into philosophies as well. You know, these doctrines out here. And you know, the average Christian church is going to sit there and say, and that's funny enough, a Wendy's ad pops up. And that's exactly what they're shoving down people's throats. Right? That's exactly who knows what's in there. And that was actually a big part of the restaurant food chain. With them opening up the restaurants was because of the Industrial Revolution. So that's where most people were going, and that's what they was eating. You know, grounded up people. It might sound graphic, that's just what it is. But they hide that unless you search it up exactly, you know, on the internet. Other than that, you search up facts about the Industrial Revolution or anything like that, or read the files, they ain't going to mention it. Right? So these are things that they'll leave out. Right? They won't tell you about it. So like a whole phone froze. Okay, I want to get this scripture. This is Daniel 8:25. It says, "And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand." Right? So through policy, he's going to cause craft, right? Witchcraft, you know, his plotting and scheming, you know, to prosper in his hand. That also means mischief, right? High levels of evil. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. So he magnify himself, and anybody in the world would say, oh yeah, the Industrial Revolution, it was maybe bad, but it was still good because it's beneficial to the society. Why? To further enslave you? Right? Through peace, he shall destroy many. You know, through that peace, man, that's talking about, that can go in many different directions. Right? But all through the same. You know, that's his policies, that's his laws, that's his, you know, privileges even. Right? His convenience. Pretty much through technology, he'll destroy many, and it breeds more slavery. Right? And through that, and And it's this, whatever this is, right? Serving out food defects, that's through his policies, right? And he's going to destroy many. And that's what he's doing till this day. That's when they started making all kinds of technology, including the television, right? Which was later, right around the 1900s. But that was pretty much where they was going towards. That's where they was headed, right? That's where they start putting the televisions into people's houses, right? The FCC getting involved. That was pretty much to get everybody set up into one mind, right? That's why we call, this whole society a hive mind. That's Revelation 13. So, by the Lord's will, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, and Shalom.